Hello sisters, hello. Welcome to this very impromptu live sharing. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And if you are in my part of the world, it is a good morning. It's pretty sunny morning. I can show you the sun rays. It's quite an early morning. And I just completed my journaling, my morning routine. So it's around, I think it's around 6:30 a.m. here in India, and it's a beautiful morning. It's sunny, the birds are chirping, the dogs are barking. Life is already alive here, and I'm here doing my morning practice. That's usually the place I come in the morning, and I do journal. I write a page at least of something that is coming up. I have my apple cider vinegar warm water drink with collagen. So here I am in the midst of my morning ritual, and I was feeling into what's happening in my world these days. What's your morning ritual? Share with me what it is. I'd love to know, love to see how you are treating your feminine before you begin the day. And what's happening in my world these days, which we are very informed as well, is the Feminine Empress codes. The doors are open, the temple doors are open. I've been talking about it. We are beginning next week, the next new moon. Getting quite a few messages from women about, you know, if this program is suitable for them or not, and what they are going through. So I decided to just do this quick live, have a chat with you. Let me know if you're here, if you're watching. Let me know what is happening with you. What do you feel about the Feminine Empress vibe? How do you feel her? Because this is a vibe that is very different to the queen energy. It's very different to just the empress energy even. Feminine Empress in itself is a whole new paradigm, because it is redefining what it means to be an empress and queen, what we have historically seen, witnessed, or know. And we create this new paradigm based on just one source, our higher self. So here is the thing that I want to share. There are three big myths I have come across while teaching this topic over the last few years. And the number one myth is that people think, or women think, that, oh, okay, so it is another program where we're going to go into learning into, you know, being on a higher vibe, you know, high frequency feminine, and so that's the myth. Feminine Empress is not about, you know, becoming a high vibe person. That does not fit in to the current world scenario, society, the paradigm that we are living in. After all, despite all the work that we do, we are living in patriarchal society, and there is a lot of duality happening, and we must not discard this aspect. We must learn how to work with this aspect as women, being this, you know, inborn creatures of living in duality. We must learn how to deal with this aspect of life. So the Feminine Empress energy is not at all about, you know, becoming a high vibe person, becoming a high vibe woman. Instead, it is about becoming a big vibe person, a big vibe woman. So what we are working towards inside of the Feminine Empress course is not about, you know, increasing your frequency, you know, becoming higher and higher, because with every high there is a low anyways. That's the nature of life, that's the nature of science, physics. But instead we are focusing on not going vertical but going horizontal. Right where you are, right what is happening in your life, right with all your messiness and all your juiciness. What we learn to do is we learn as a feminine empress to hold bigger vibes. So how do we hold bigger vibes? We open our hearts to both pain and pleasure at the same time. What we learn is that we can be enough and we do not have to be enough. We can hold pain and pleasure at the same time. We can hold disappointment and beauty at the same time. We can hold imperfection and desires at the same time. And that's about the Feminine Empress energy that we will be working with inside of the Feminine Empress Codes program. So that's a myth. We are not going to be working towards becoming a high vibe person. So you are like, yes, I am now a better person. I am now a high vibe person. I've got this figured out. No, it's not that. We are learning to expand our capacity to hold ourselves, like all of ourselves, in this a big vibe container. And specifically if you are a woman who is into working with women, doing circles or doing workshops or teaching, in one way or the other responsible for holding space for others, this is important. We must learn how to hold a big vibe, not a high vibe. Because when you learn how to hold a big vibe, firstly for yourself, then you're able to do that for the others. You encompass all of that is present. You do not give meaning to unpleasant emotions, experiences, and triggers and make it mean something bad or wrong. Because none of that exists is bad or wrong until we give it a meaning. Yeah. So that's number one myth of the Feminine Empress vibe. And that's something that we will be working with, that she's not about becoming she's not about becoming a high vibe woman. She is about becoming a big vibe woman. Heart open, vibe expanded. That's what it is. So yeah. So that's one of the myths, and we will be working towards it inside of the Feminine Empress Codes. And the second myth is about boundaries. Let me know how you feel about boundaries. How do you see boundaries? Okay, a quick sip. So boundaries, I've done plenty of masterclasses on this topic inside of this group, and on my YouTube channel you can read, learn, feel into it. One of the things that I have really understood about boundaries is that boundaries involve two people. It always involves two people. I set boundaries. I always give an example of a house and fencing around, and then the area outside of the house. So think about it. So it involves the house, which is you. And then it involves the fencing, that is you creating the fencing, and then it creates the world outside, which is the world outside, the people that are outside your world, or the people that you want to create boundaries with. And it's a really good foundational place to work with in your life. Feeling into what is boundary, how do I create them, how do I communicate them, and all of that is good. What I've come to also understanding is that it is kind of like a circular loop. Like sometimes you may just end up going round in a loop. Of course, when you are in a toxic relation in your boundaries, then please, will you take care of it? But in everyday life, creating boundaries is very exhausting because it is always relational to someone else. It's always relational to someone else outside of you. So this is the myth of the Feminine Empress, that she creates strong boundaries. No. This is very interesting, and for me to digest this was difficult because I was becoming good and creating strong boundaries. But Feminine Empress vibe is not about creating strong boundaries. In fact, she is quite fluid with the boundaries because she decides. She decides when she wants to have a strong boundary with which person, at what instance. Maybe tomorrow she doesn't want to have this strong boundary with this person. Maybe tomorrow she wants to have a strong boundary with this person. You know, we are the feminine. While being in India, so much has changed about the perception of feminine for me over the last 2 years while I'm stuck here, I would say. That, and specifically working with the Indian teachers, the feminine is a concept. Shakti, life force, energy, is a concept that cannot be defined. And for you to really define, define a boundary is something, a very rigid structure that you are creating around yourself, which is, again, as I said, a great place to begin with if you are new to the concept of boundaries. But then at a point you get tired of like, oh my god, I've been creating boundaries and like I'm a bit tired and I want something new. Then here is the thing. A feminine empress does not create strong boundaries. She creates standards. And this was the difference that I felt, which was quite relieving for me when I really understood. She creates strong standards for herself. That is, she decides how she is going to be treating herself and how she wants to be treated by others. She defines her standards. She creates her standards. And she energetically do this process in a way that she chooses what she wants to become unavailable to. She decides that, she gets to decide that. And this is quite liberating because this only involves you. This doesn't involve the moving piece. And oftentimes you will see, when you really go deeper into working with boundaries, it's a very internal thing. You need to first internalize what are your standards, what are your non-negotiables, what are you not available to anymore. And when you have defined those standards and you encounter a scenario where, let's say, your boundaries have been violated or something, you don't go and beating around the bush or like why that person did this or what happened, why didn't you hold the space or whatever. You go check in with, have you been following your own standards? Have you been true to the things that you are have chosen, decided to become unavailable to? Have you been creating, following, feeling, energizing, activating your own standards on a regular basis? So this is very liberating as a woman, that in this day and age, I think we are super privileged. We are super privileged to be in a position to be able to define our standards, to define what I want to become unavailable to. And this is a very life-changing experience for me. Every day I am choosing, and this is a day-to-day practice. Every day I am choosing, what am I becoming unavailable to as the empress that I am, just for me, in my own terms, according to my own higher self, this essential self. In fact, what am I becoming unavailable to today? Also, the fluidity is really important. What am I becoming unavailable to today may be different tomorrow. That's again the nature of the flow, of the feminine. You cannot be so rigid. There are times I want to have strong boundaries with this person, and there are times that I don't want to have strong boundaries. But then there are times that I didn't have any boundaries with this person, but then today, like, I need to have strong boundaries. So how do you keep an account of what boundaries with whom and when and what? You can only keep an account for yourself by deciding your standards, by deciding what you're becoming unavailable to. And again, this is something we will go deeper into the Feminine Empress codes when we are working specifically with the warrior essence, in the last month of the warrior essence. And the previous myth that I mentioned about the Feminine Empress not being a high vibe woman, but a bigger vibe woman. So she's not going vertical, she's going horizontal. That's something that we practice, we embody, we ritualize in the first month, the lover essence of inside the Feminine Empress program. And then the last one, the myth that I want to say is that there is this myth that this Feminine Empress is this, elegant, confident woman. She appears, she breaks through her fears, and she shows up and she expresses, and there she is. The moment she appears, there she is. Hey, I see some viewers, but I can't see comments. I'd love to know who you are, and let me know if this is sitting with you, if this is sitting well with you, or if you have any questions, or if you're watching the replay, also share with me. So yeah, so there is this persona that she's this grand person. Why not? She can be this grand person. But let's be realistic. How long can we also hold that vibe? Again, it's not about the high vibe, it's about the big vibe. And so this is the myth that she's this confident person who appears and she slays her inner demons, and she's so confident, she gets things done, and she exactly knows what she's doing. No, this is a myth. The Feminine Empress chooses courage over confidence, and this is also a very vulnerable piece for us women to embrace. That let's just stop being or trying to be confident. You will spend a lot of time perfecting yourself if you are chasing self-confidence. And the whole personal development industry talks about fake it till you make it. And this is to become confident, you have to start acting like that person. This is in a way neurologically very true, scientifically very true, but then you can approach this from a very different aspect as well. Again, we work through this inside of the Feminine Empress codes. But the main myth that I want to break here is that she is not a confident woman. She's a courageous woman. She chooses courage. And courage, again, the root word comes from heart, core, heart. And which means that she really unconditionally trusts Anahata, the heart chakra. The heart chakra is all about unconditionality. Anahata is the Sanskrit word, and it means unbeaten, unbroken, unstuck. And she chooses that energy. She chooses courage. That means that she is afraid, she's nervous, she is sweaty, and she still shows up. She still speaks up. She continues to be in a relationship with herself, building the trust. Yeah. And again, this is what makes us vulnerable and strong at the same time. So this is what still keeps us tender. We're not here to harden ourselves and face the world. We're here to be tender as well as resilient, because our vulnerability is a very juicy fertilizer for the current times in humanity. We must know how to be courageous and stand up for ourselves, but with an open heart. Okay, there's a plane arriving. I live close to the airport. So that's what it is. And so these are the three major myths that we will be working again into inside the Feminine Empress codes. And also we will be working specifically, I think I wrote a post about it yesterday, we will be working specifically around the three dark qualities: the shame, which is the dark quality of the lover essence, the kind of shame that we have ingrained we want to work with, the dark quality of the mother, which is guilt. A lot of times we go into this guilt, what has happened, what will happen, what didn't happen. And then the dark quality of fear, which is we are not gonna spend any more energy being fearless. It's just a waste of time. Fear is a beautiful fertile. See, the birdie agrees. We're gonna go through 4 months, like really dip ourselves into deep waters of these understandings, these practice, and you're gonna be held by me in this space. And one thing I can speak for myself and those who have done the work with me, I am a really good space holder. So 6 years ago, I wouldn't be saying this to you, but today I can say this to you because I have done this. I have done this. I have been this. I really embody space holding as a channel. It's not Jonita holding this space. I'm just a conduit, and I enjoy this. I truly love this, and it serves me. Yeah, what a win-win! It serves me too, witnessing women holding women. The interesting thing about this program is that once we finish, once we finish, we are going to also do an additional live circle. So you're going to have 2 live circles in a month. So you get a chance to sit in the Zoom circle with women, be witness, share, connect, and speak up, show up as well. I'm going to be pushing your buttons too. That's part of it. You will pay me for that. It's going to be amazing. The last coronation ceremony literally was with mixed feelings, because first we were so excited to do this, to really witness our journey and to really stand up and see like, wow, this happened. Wow, I did this. And then on the other hand, we were a little bit sad because the container was going to close. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know how it sits with you. And if you have any questions around the payment plans, I have, my team has now come up with really personalized options to pay. I make it really easy. And also there are 3 partial scholarships remaining available. If you want, if finance is a challenge, we give some kind of discount. Write to me, I will connect with you. But here's the thing. I think it is time. I think it is time, specifically if you are a woman. I'm going to start shouting now because it's plain. Specifically if you are a woman who is into women's work, into these small businesses, creating a small business out of her life, or if you're a professional woman or a homemaker, this will serve you. The container is filled with a lot of masculine practices as well as feminine practices, rituals, embodiment. If you have worked with me in my free circles, then you know that I am all about embodiment, because change occurs in the body, not in the mind. And that's the invitation for you. Grab it. You will not regret this investment. You will enjoy this process. And towards the end, and when we sit in circle and in the coronation ceremony, you will be proud. Yeah. That's the gift you can give to yourselves. We, enter the year, in the first half of the year. What have you done for yourself? You can do this. Okay, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for listening, watching, being here. Any questions, email me. Much love to you all, sisters. Okay, let me send you some sunny vibes. How about that? Oh, it's super sunny out there. Alright, sisters.